So we'll just wait for a few more people to trickle in. We had a fair few more people that put down they were interested to come and hear this conversation. So just wait a little while for people to come in. And yeah, how's your day been going so far? I'm assuming you're very busy all the time at the moment, VK.
Yeah. I mean, the days, they disappear before you think you got anything done. And then you look back and you're like, geez, it's been another long day. But yeah, look, a lot of things going on. Of course, we are very
Yeah.
dev heavy. We like to deliver on time as we have until now. So a lot of, promises to keep, of course, and lots of new developments which we haven't even promised. So yeah, keeps us busy, but good busy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, what you're building is something extremely intricate with lots of moving parts, and it hasn't been done before. So it's hard for you to be able to sort of have an accurate understanding of exactly how long development's going to take. But with that said, I have to say you guys have done a stellar job in delivering with your tech on time. That's something that I've noticed as a community member myself, that you've been non-stop building and really putting out the development work as and when you say, with a very high quality.
Yeah, no, thanks very much for that comment. We really appreciate that. We want to be known for that. And I think we are very good at that, and we do take pride in it. I think we need to do a little bit more on the marketing side, getting the word out, and which is where, AMAs like this are going to be very helpful.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm as you and I have had conversations over the last couple of months, VK, and you know that I'm bullish on what you're doing. And just as a whole, I'm extremely bullish on the DAG ecosystem and the space. I think what you guys are doing is actually tackling a very broken and unfair industry to provide clarity and fairness moving forward for everybody to have equal opportunity when it comes to taking part in the betting and sort of casino industry. So I for one am really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, no, us too. And I think that's probably a good time to recap a little bit about what we are doing, right? For the sake of
Yeah,
all the listeners who are probably new to this as well. So, no,
yeah,
100%. Look, I mean, the industry today is completely broken, not
yeah,
just for the players, which are heavily biased against by the houses, but even for the houses to a very large extent, it's broken, right? And of course, they're making a lot of money, but there are ways we can improve how they work as well. And this is where we said, look, there's a different way of doing things which needs to be applied to any industry which works on a hub and spoke mechanism, right? And a casino industry, a betting industry, a prediction market industry is nothing different than a hub and spoke mechanism where all the players are going to a centralized house. Everybody puts in the bets on whatever the thing the future event is going to look like. And then what the centralized house is doing is playing the players against each other and taking a massive cut in between. So it feels like you're playing against the house, but actually what you're doing is playing against the other players. It's the
yeah,
same thing as you would see in any industry which has a hub and spoke mechanism. Even if you're thinking about, derivatives or swaps and things like this, there are losers, there are winners, and then there are the guys in between who take a massive cut. And we want to do this differently. So what we've done at DoubleDice is, of course, created a platform that brings advantages to the players, first of all, so that they get true odds-based returns. Now, what that means is, let's take an example. I've always given this example, and I'll do it again shamelessly.
yeah,
Let's look at roulette, right? I mean, the game of roulette is, let's say, I mean, it's the most biased game in the history, right, of gaming. You go to the casino floor, you find a roulette table, you put in dollar after dollar on the numbers, and a lot of times you don't get it right, and the casino will just take away all the chips on the table, even if nobody got it right. And on the other hand, after all this while, you hit your 13 black and you're limited to your 35x return because that is what is said is the highest limit you can make. Now, if we were to flip that and said, look, you're not playing against the house, let's make it directly player to player. And you've got a bunch of players on the table who are all playing against each other. There's $1,000 on the table. Now we make the spin, everybody's put their bets in. And if nobody wins, everybody gets their money back, right? That never happens in a real casino environment. But in our system, there have to be winners and there have to be losers for the payouts to occur. So if nobody won, everybody gets their money back. On the other hand, there was the same $1,000 and you put in your dollar on 13 black and it hit. In this case, you are not limited to 35x returns. So you would get the full $1,000, right? Because everybody else lost. Why should they get their money back? So there are very, very clear benefits in designing a system which brings true odds-based returns to the players in a pooled environment, because there is no middle guy who's doing all this risk management and arbitrage between the different players, and there is a direct playout. Obviously, this also gives opportunities to people to actually run their own gaming operations, and which is what we are doing. So we've got room owners as a very key stakeholders, which allows them to run this prediction markets, gaming rooms, casino tables, or bets using our protocol. And this is where we are addressing also the pain points of some of the things which plague the industry from a centralized house perspective. You don't have to be a centralized house you don't have to be a centralized house and put your money to work. You don't need to create a dark pool of funds. You don't even need to add liquidity to your bets and games and tables. On our protocol, you go to the page, you create a bet, you put it out to the people. You don't need to put any money. You just need to be creative, market it to the participants, and then the participants are playing between themselves. So that's how we're also bringing opportunities to the retail market, so to say, as well as the larger players, in how a system which still allows people to have fun can be designed differently from the bottom up, so that large parts of the industry are just not required. And what I mean by that is this risk management, advanced mathematics being conducted by several algorithms and the cutthroat mechanisms they deploy to gain one more user in a centralized environment. All of these players can do away with it if everybody deployed our protocol and played on a pooled mechanism and just let players work it out between themselves. They don't miss the fun, they get better returns, and as an owner of a casino or a room, you are making a risk-free return for yourself as well. So that's the promise of the project. We delivered in April first week a fully working product, which has never had a technical issue in the last 7-8 months of operation. So we take great pride in that, of course. And that has allowed people to create bets on various topics like political events, sports, crypto prices or crypto races, and some other aspects as well. And I think this is what it is about, giving creativity to the room owners and the bet owners, but also bringing bets to areas that are underserved. So imagine, for example, you've got a group of people, lots of 100, 200,000 groups on Facebook discussing reality shows. Now, if you create an event which says, here's a bet on who gets kicked out of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here tonight, right? Then it's going to create some engagement, because that has never been possible to do on a normal centralized platform. And these are the kind of things which we hope slowly the room owners will pick up on and go after those targeted markets which are unserved or underserved, tell them why it's better for the players to play on a pooled format, and then bring the success to the platform which we have aimed for.
Yeah, no, I think that what you've built is something that is absolutely needed, and for anybody that begins to understand what it is, they can see the extra value and the potential. So, like, to quickly sort of break that down for the listeners who have only just joined, essentially what you guys are doing at DoubleDice is you have created a online betting and casino platform, a decentralized one, which essentially removes the need for a house. So in a normal setting, the house always has an edge. So regardless as to how many times people play, the house always wins. I'm sure we've all heard that saying before. But what you've done is created a decentralized platform where there is no house. That creates a much fairer playing field, much higher odds of winning, with nowhere near the amount of restrictions. So people can come into your platform, they can create betting rooms, and that can be betting on, as you said, celebrity TV shows all the way up to crypto prices. It can be anything that you want, but also creating casino rooms where users can put on card games and things things like that, but in a decentralized fashion where there's no limited winnings that you can win and there's no house. So everybody has equal chances. And I love the part that if nobody actually wins, that the money isn't paid out. That's such a crazy thing that happens, isn't it? And the example you use with roulette, that they just literally wipe all of those chips off the table if nobody
Yeah.
wins. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's such in any other industry that would be seen as crime, wouldn't it? You know,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
literally taking your money and giving you nothing back. It would be seen as a
Correct.
crime, but it's taken as normal because that's all we've ever known. But what you're doing is you're pushing the boundaries of what's possible in this space, as are so many projects alongside you in the DAG ecosystem, where you're utilizing the ability of a decentralized network, free transactions, infinite scalability, to be able to build out a decentralized betting and casino platform. And that industry is huge. So, you know, you're entering a huge industry which has benefits because there's a lot of participants, but also at the same time, it does pose some negatives because you're going to have to, you know, any company like yourself that is essentially rewriting the book on what's possible has to go through a very hard part of re-education, helping people understand what's changing. And the beginning part of that is tough. And, you know, I'm assuming you're feeling that at the moment. But as times go forward and you keep on progressing and people realize what's on the table and how much more beneficial this is, how much more
Yeah.
functionality and freedom they have, you know, the tide begins to turn, doesn't it? And you see a mass exodus of one system to the next. So yeah, like I really love what you're doing, VK.
Yeah,
And I think
and you've
it's
hit the nail on the head. It's all about education and awareness in this early phase, right? Everybody accepts the way it has been done for the last 200 years, and nobody questions it because it fulfills their speculative requirements immediately. So there's an instant gratification aspect to that, and we have to work on this education and awareness. So we take the opportunity to speak to as many people and tell them what's in it for the players, what's in it for you as a room owner. And yeah, it's a slow process. You're absolutely right. And to show the real benefits, we do need to have the liquidity ramp up on these tables, right? So if you go on a roulette table, we don't need anybody to tell us that, yes, of course, you need that $1,000 on the table. Otherwise, you can't give somebody $1,000 as winnings. 100% agree. But you have to start with the education and awareness process. Then you work with the room owners who are really enthusiastic about what they're doing and will run it as their own business. That's what we've said, right? We are bringing the creator economy to the gaming space. You can make money by, serving advertisements around your TikToks or your podcasts or your YouTube videos. Today, we are giving everybody a chance to make money on the gaming environment by launching your own bets or launching your own gaming rooms. All you do is focus on marketing, bringing it to the right communities, make sure that there are enough players there, and that's your business, right? So the real ambition for us has always been bringing this creative economy to the gaming space. And yeah, it's going to take a while, right? I mean, when YouTube
yeah,
started, everybody for the first 36 months were like, what the hell is this? Why would anybody watch a video or somebody else's video? Is it a home video channel? What is this?
yeah,
Takes a while, but then it picks up. And like you said, there will be a turning point. We just need to make sure that we make everybody aware and educated of the opportunities in what we are doing as much as possible. And then, yeah, it will take its organic way up.
definitely. And I think between us, we've discussed really well exactly what it is that you're doing, the value opportunity, you know, the the way that you're providing the creator economy within this with your betting rooms is such a brilliant idea. And a lot of people might be thinking, well, so there's no house, and the house obviously has to make money. So how do you make money? So I think it would be good if we could just talk a little bit now about the betting rooms, about how that works with betting room owners, how they get a room, and what they earn from that, and then how DoDi essentially also takes revenue from that, because you've got some really interesting utility in this part, and I think it'd be good for the listeners to hear exactly how that works.
All right, there's a lot of questions in there, so I'll try to cover it in a structured step-by-step method. So yes, look, DODI is our token. The token allows you the access to our protocol through which the room owners can actually create the bets and the gaming rooms. So you buy a certain amount of tokens, you go and stake them into our staking contracts. That then gives you the license, so to say, to own and operate your own bets and rooms. You can continue to do that free of charge as long as those tokens stay staked in the contract. Once that staking period ends, you get the tokens back. You still haven't paid anything, but in the time that you staked, you had an endless amount of, creating the rooms and making money from it. But how do you actually make money from it? Because you're not the house, there is no house. So essentially, our system allows everything to work on pooled mechanisms. Now imagine you have a room and you've said, midterms, right? Who's going to come out on top, Democrats or Republicans? Or let's make it a little bit fancier and just stick to the I'm a celebrity, get me out of here thing. 8, 10 contestants, which one's going to get kicked out on the first show? Everybody's putting money on the different contestants who they think is going to get kicked out. Obviously, only you are going to know in the end when the show is telecast which one actually got kicked out. You will find out the 9 contestants still remained. One was out of the show, and everybody that put money on that one person is the winner, and everybody that put money on the 9 others are the losers. And the contracts will automatically take the money from the 9 losing options on which the people put the bet and distribute it to the people in the winning group, and it goes across several layers. It's not just how much money you put on the correct answer, but how early you put as well, because you do want to incentivize the early participants. So that's how the players also know the earlier I make a correct prediction or a correct bet, the higher my relative earnings are going to be. So in the same example, let's say there was $1,000 and you and I both put in $10 each on the correct participant, but I did it on the first day and you did it on day 5. Well, you had the chance to wait for 5 days, see how the show is progressing, how contestants are behaving, and so on and so forth. And your risk was lower. You also got to see how other people were betting. Now, for the same $10 you put and I put, I will get a higher return because I was earlier in making the bet. So we won't get both 500 each. It could be that I get 600 and you get 400, just as an example, right? And this is all coded in. We call it the time multiplier. Essentially, the earlier bet you make, the higher multiplier you get for the risk you have taken. So along those parameters, it's settled directly and automatically between the players. Now, you as a house have said, look, I'm spending my time marketing this thing. I've created this bet. I've bought the tokens. I've staked it in. I was clever in creating this bet. I worked on pushing this bet to the other people. So you earn a socialization fee, essentially, for this. And you can charge whatever you want. But of course, our guidance is to keep it around the 2% mark to keep it very fair for all the participants. And so if there was $10,000 on that day's bet, you would essentially make 2% of that. Once that bet ends, you can create another bet and continue the cycle again. So running it like a business is what we are giving the room owners a chance of. And you make money in the form of socialization fee for essentially creating it and promoting it to the other people.
Awesome. I think that's brilliant. And I think the fact that you have to buy and stake DODI to open a room intrinsically ties the value and growth of the token to the value and growth of the platform, which really is real utility. That's real utility, isn't it? And that's what we're seeing so much with projects that are building on the hypergraph. And I think that it's if you're investing in a company, that kind of utility is what you need to be looking for, because the value is aligned from project owner, employees, and investors, because everybody wants to see the platform do well, and when the platform does well, everybody benefits and everybody does well. And once you begin to get adoption, people start creating more rooms and making money, and then more people want to create more rooms and buying more tokens, and the token price goes up and more people use the platform. It's it's a continual cycle of value back
Yeah,
into
it
growing the
becomes a
company and the
virtuous
business.
cycle of appreciation. I absolutely agree. And the one part I think you asked, but I did not address, now I just remembered while you were talking about, is our lazy pool stakers, right? So for the guys who hold our tokens, but who don't really want to run a room, well, we have the lazy pool staking mechanism. What the lazy pool participants are essentially doing is taking their tokens in support of the infrastructure which actually room owners are using. And part of the room owner's fees is given to this lazy pool participants as a passive income. But remember, this is not from any inflationary aspect where we are printing tokens for free, where all the node projects went to, where they went. So we're not doing that kind of an operation. We knew that you need to have a real income-based yield here, where you're actually supporting the room owners by supporting the infrastructure, and you're getting a return for that passive support that you are providing to the room owners, that the room owners are directly sharing their revenues with them. So it doesn't go through us. It's all coded into the smart contracts. And essentially, there is a way for these lazy pool owners, participants actually, to also make a passive income. So this is how we've structured it, essentially, where all parts of the stakeholder groups are getting their fair share in proportion to the amount of efforts which they are putting in, right? And we know that the room owners are the ones who are required to put in a lot of effort for creating and marketing these bets and gaming rooms. So they take the majority share, of course, and then the other guys get a very little share of that as well for supporting it. So we've tried to make it as fair as possible. And as you know, the platforms out there, forward looking, we are looking to put the metaverse gaming rooms out on a step-by-step basis within Q4. We said that a year ago. We're still on track for that. We will start with roulette first, because that's a game which everybody knows in the world, and where actually the
and it's a good
principles.
example.
Yeah, and that's the best example of how the pool economics work out, right? So as soon as we've got one table where we're seeing some serious amount of betting activity going on, it's going to open up everybody's eyes in terms of saying, hey, here's a game. It spins the ball every 4 to 5 minutes. Everything is on chain. It's fully decentralized, and people are still having a good time playing it in a metaverse environment, on your phones, on your desktops, and the room owners are making money out of it. That's going to be the aha moment, so to say.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was just going to chime in there, VK, and say that I think that's a very good decision from your part to push out the roulette first. And the reason why I believe that is because everybody knows what roulette is. Even if you don't play roulette or you've never been to a casino before, you know what roulette is. It's very collectively understood to be a casino game where people place bets on numbers and they potentially make money. I think you would struggle to find somebody. I think if you were to stop 100 people on the street, I think you'd struggle to find one of them that doesn't know what that is. And, that's really you're going to be putting something out there that is extremely familiar to the collective people in society. And you're also going to be providing a more fair and a better service with unlimited returns. Because I think, obviously you have your betting rooms, and I think that it's a fantastic idea, the betting rooms, being able to spin up a bet based on anything and get people to play on it. But it's, again, that's, you're having to educate people on exactly how that works. Oh, so I go into this room and I can find different bets, and how do I win on that bet, and when's that decided? There's questions that people will potentially. It's a potential barrier of entry for people to adopt the tech because it's new and familiar. But I think once you've got, once the roulette goes out there, people jump on that, then it's going to open the doors to all of your other products as well.
Yeah, and it's not just that, right? I mean, so what we are aiming for is simplified luck games, because what we see is that this kind of games work very well across a very, very large demographic, right? So if you've got, for example, the Asian market in sight, what you see is they've got very, very easy games, heads or tails kind of thing, and people are still betting on it nonstop, just trying to eke out 1%, 2% gains during their whole day's play. Now, roulette is one of those games which everybody knows, and you're 100% right that there our need for education awareness is much lower. Our interface is also going to be very similar or same to what they would experience in a centralized casino-based roulette table, where you are simply, pulling your chips and placing it on the parts of the wheel or parts of the table or the numbers you want to do it. It's pins, and you get a return if you are a winner, and you lose if there are other winners and you didn't get it right. So that part of the experience is going to be the same, and I think that is going to allow us to make it easier for the people to say, okay, I get it, let's just do this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's, people like things to be easy. We want easy, convenient, everything done for us. We click one button and we can win some money or order some food or have a drink, or convenience has become the thing of the age, hasn't it? And unfortunately we have to cater to that to allow people to come into the space and sort of use the products that we build. So just quickly sort of flipping back a little bit. So I think you mentioned about your metaverse casinos and your metaverse in general in Q4. So how's that tracking? What's the obviously you're going to have the roulette coming out, but what's going to be available when when you push out version 1 of this? Is it going to be that you can just sort of log in and play roulette, or are there going to be avatars available from the get-go? Are we going to be able to communicate with people straight away, or is new iterations going to be rolled out with different developments over time?
So there will be new iterations and developments all the time. What we are also keeping an eye on is how the metaverse is actually being used currently, the ones that are already in the market. And I'm sure you guys have also seen numbers like, 28 active daily users on Decentraland and things like this. Yeah. And we know where the problem is. The problem is that if you are using a normal 4 to 8 gigabyte RAM kind of a laptop, for example, and you're trying to load up Decentraland, it's probably going to take you a good part of 15 to 20 minutes. And sometimes after all that, it will just fail because it's like a video game. Remember the days when you used to buy your Blu-ray discs or DVDs and stick it into your Xbox or PlayStation and play, or now you have to download an entire game, then it builds up and you play? Well, it's exactly the same with the metaverse. You're downloading almost a video game size file, which then needs to have enough space to download and build within your RAM environment, and then actually visualize that within the browser setup for you to actually interact with it. And there are huge drawbacks to this experience. As you said, in the age of instant gratification, where you want to go and play a game in 4 minutes and come out, well, that takes a lot of time. Now we're taking that into account. We have built the entire gaming structure and we'll put it out for whoever wants to use it. But we will additionally provide a way for people to get their instant gratification satisfied as well. So what that means is, let's say you go and create a roulette table. And now you're going to get a link which will bring people directly to your roulette table so that they don't have to waste time logging in, downloading the entire build, going into the metaverse, selecting an avatar, walking around, trying to find the table they like, and then join the game. You'll still be able to do that, but you'll also be able to get the people directly to your table should you wish to do that. And I think that's what's going to happen. And actually, it's the other way around, where you are on the table, you've had a great time, and you say, this looks interesting, and then you get off the table and walk around. That is the other way of getting the people in, because while you're playing, it's loading up in the background.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And at the end of the day, technology takes time to develop anyway, doesn't it? I mean, you look back at the last 30 years and I'm sitting here now on my laptop with my microphone and using Discord and my MetaMask wallet and sending crypto tokens all around the world. But 30 years ago, that was a pipe dream. People weren't using these laptops. They had big, massive box sort of machines under the table and big, thick keyboards. And gradually over time, things improve, don't they? And this is just, I actually wrote a thread about this that I'm posting very soon on my profile. And I think what we're going through now is we had the .com boom in 2000 and we went from sort of the Web 1 to Web 2, but now we're really pushing through to Web 3, and we're going to see projects like yourself, VK, that are taking things that are already being done, but just improving them by several orders of magnitude, providing the users with a better experience, ownership, and the ability to actually, take a cut of the money that all of the big companies have been rinsing us for all these years. And that's what's really happening with Web3 is it's realigning the value exchange between everybody who comes into contact with these projects. What you're doing is you're dissolving the house and saying, you're stitching us up, you're taking all this money, you're always winning and we're always losing, and you're dividing that between the players, the room owners, and yourself, but a more fair, in a more fair way. And that's really what we should all be aiming for. And that is what's happening now. People like yourself, VK, are pioneering this movement going forward, as are most of the other projects that are building on DAG. It's a very exciting time to be in the space. And although, very frustrating, I can imagine for yourself sometimes where you're wanting faster adoption and investors are wanting quicker, investors are wanting quicker gains. You can't build something that provides true value overnight. And, we have to be patient. We have to believe in the vision and, stick with it and keep going, because what's being built right now is really going to change the future for the better, in my opinion.
I fully agree. I fully agree. And, we take this principle of decentralization to heart, right? And decentralization shouldn't just be a term that applies to the technology or the architecture that you're using. It should also apply to the economic roles the different stakeholder groups are playing within a project, right? So yes, you might build a decentralized casino, but it's just a decentralized house against which all the players are playing. It's not decentralization because it's only on one axis, right? And this is where absolutely the room owners come into play, where we are decentralizing the role of the houses. Everybody can be a house, everybody can be a player. Why not, right? And that's the decentralization level we look at. And to just take it a philosophical point of view, the way we look at it is, look, in every ecosystem, doesn't matter just our project or the crypto ecosystem or the financial world or real world or whatever you want to call it, there are always going to be three groups of people. One are the value enablers. The second are the value creators. And the third are the value absorbers, right? And as long as you ensure that there are always these three groups, and which part of the group is performing which function, you'll know how to divide up the financial structures and the rewards and returns everybody should be getting. So in our case, we see ourselves as a value enabler, right? Because we are just providing the tech stack. The room owners are the value creators, and the value that is being created there is being consumed by the players because they are the ones benefiting monetarily out of it.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really great way to put it across. And it's clear to me from speaking to you before and researching your projects and speaking to you now that you've aligned your project in line with the philosophical view that you just put forward. So, like, I think right now we're in the bear market. It's we've been in this bear market for which feels like an eternity. And I think people and investors, they just need to be patient with projects like yourself right now, because trying to achieve huge adoption in a market like this just isn't going to happen. It doesn't mean that you can't push forward and look for ways to generate new interest, but you see it everywhere. People say the bear market's for building, and I think it's very clear building is what you and your team are doing. I firmly believe the product that you have, it's better. It provides more value. And in the end, it's going to be much easier for people to use. It's a no-brainer once people understand how to do it. It just will take a little bit of time to develop the products, because what you're building is no small feat. And I think you deserve, big congratulations for what you and your team have already accomplished. And I'm very excited to see what you come out with the casinos in the metaverse. And I, for one, will definitely be playing. And I'm sure we've got people listening in the audience and people that listen in the future to the recording on YouTube that are thinking, oh, wow, I would definitely get involved in that. That sounds great. And I think you're going to have a lot of those reactions over time. But we just need the market to recover a little bit more, and things will, things will return a bit more positive.
Absolutely. And I think the good thing for us is that the solid base is already done. So we have a working product in the prediction market and the bet space for 8 months. There have been no technical problems, all vulnerabilities whatsoever. So all you're doing is creating a metaverse-based interface on top of it, but which is served in a decentralized tech space, which of course has a very big challenge. So yeah, part of the thing is we know that from a mathematical perspective, a smart contract perspective, state channel perspective, everything works. We just need to build the top on a decentralized level, which is where, of course, we are going to have quite a lot of challenges because of the size of the files and the amount of time it takes for people to download and build it up and so on and so forth. But look, I mean, all that will come step by step. We are also waiting on the DAG team to deliver the graph, integration. And we are also looking to see where the decentralized storage option, which if you stop using the IPFS, the interplanetary file system, we need something equivalent within the DAG system, so to say, so that the DAG state channel can work with that decentralized storage, and then the graph being integrated will run all the analytics for the gamer perspective, right? So we're waiting for that, but we still build it. We're still going to release it on the Polygon environment because we are, let's say, very advanced in terms of our development and deployment plans. We never want to tell our community, oh my God, we are delayed. So we will deliver still. But yes, we are very clear on the migration plans. It's a question of when, not if, so to say. Yeah. And we are also putting in other building blocks in place. So for example, to build liquidity in the markets, we've got a second centralized exchange listing coming up. Now, we've signed it, we've paid for it, but we have also agreed that we want to, big news, I know. And, but we've also known that it needs to be done at the right point in time. And we're looking at the markets to say, when is the Fed going to stop? When does the sentiment really change? Not just on an hourly basis or a weekly basis. It needs to be a consistent uptrend so that you get the maximum bang for buck, so to say. Yeah. So we're waiting for the right time for the second SEX listing, so to say. There's other big news coming out. So in terms of accessibility for the players, we've already announced the 3 on-ramp integrations, which will be there. On the platform itself, well, today I can also tell you that there's going to be another addition, which is going to be an email-based exchange where you won't even need a wallet. Yeah. So essentially, you get a decentralized magic link in your email. When you want to access the platform, you click on it, you're there, you play, you get out. Yeah. So it eliminates completely any problems that any of the non-crypto or the crypto virgins might have, because you'll be able to play directly from your Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right.
That's brilliant.
And everything will still.
I think that removing barriers of entry, making things as simple as possible, is absolutely what is needed to be done. And I think that we're going to see more projects actually emerge soon as well, that their sole purpose is helping Web 2 companies become Web 3 companies, that literally just, walk them through and hold their hand and help them integrate onto this kind of thing. And I know the Hypergraph does that. I know DAG do that with their Hypercube and the Lattice launch program. But I think we're going to see so many other companies doing that, helping people get on board, because people need things to make sense for them. People need things to be easy. The easier you make something for somebody, the much more likely they are to do it. We were talking about this a minute ago. So I think that's a brilliant addition to adoption for you.
Oh yeah, 100%. Imagine this. I mean, you don't have to worry about how to set up a wallet. It still remains non-custodial. It's your wallet, but all you need is an email address, and you don't need to find on-ramps and off-ramps. It's just there, right? So that's what we're doing. It's going to come out. We don't know how many weeks it's going to take, but that's coming out, because we realize that we also want to remove the bottlenecks for the participants. Just like in the first launch in April, we saw that the pages directly from IPFS were taking minutes to load or timing out. So we changed that, and nobody's been able to solve it. But we still have IPFS hosting, but now our pages and the entire platform loads up like it was rolling out of an AWS server, even though it's not. So yeah, I think our team is very good at finding all the solutions to the problems that Web3 will try to throw at us. And we are very confident in doing that. And I think seeing this, the room owners will actually get also inspired to say, okay, now there are no excuses for me not to run my business like a business. People can come in easily. Everything works very smoothly. So let's get on and, create a business out of it. So we are looking at it also from those perspectives, where we are going to bring out several technology advancements. One of the largest feedback we got was, is there going to be an app? Well, I can tell you there will be an app, right? And it will come to you before the year ends on both Android
Amazing.
and iOS, right? So
That's
now
amazing.
imagine you've got an app, runs from your phone, device independent, on Android, on iOS. You don't need a wallet. All you need is an email. You go in there. You've got smooth on ramps and off ramps from your Apple Pay, Google Pay credit cards. You play and you get out. Well, that is the most seamless Web3 decentralized betting prediction market and gaming platform you're going to have. So that's what's coming in the next few weeks for us.
That's brilliant. So what you've dropped there is you've got a new exchange listing coming soon, and you're going to be releasing an app where we can access all of your products, which is incredible. So I think, DK,
and also the whole
you've
magic
given...
link part, right?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, and also the whole magic link part, where you don't even need to have a wallet and worry about on ramp, off ramp, and maintaining a wallet. It's just non-custodial wallets behind your email, which will make it easy for even the crypto virgins to come in. I think that's going to be a big plus for any gaming outfit as well.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And I think you've given us a very good breakdown of what it is that you guys are building, what you're doing, where you're at, how the future looks. And I hope the audience have a good understanding from that. I think you've laid it out really well for us today, VK. So I really appreciate you coming on and giving us your valuable time. We do have a few questions from the community, so I think now will be a suitable time to sort of head over. We can go through a couple of the questions, and then we can wrap it up and let you get on with the rest of your day, VK, if that sounds good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. And yes, absolutely okay to take questions.
Cool. So, first question is from the Dagon Slayer. Appreciate you being here, brother. You're a very avid listener of these AMAs. We really appreciate you in the community, mate. He said, where is the best place to buy DODI right now, and any listings in the works? So obviously you've kind of covered the second part of that with your new DEX listing coming up, but just talk us through the options for buying DODI right now. Where's the best place to get hold of some tokens?
Sure. So if you like the DEX version, go to Uniswap. If you like the centralized exchange, then Bitmart is your only option right now. Both of them are the places, depending on your preference, where you can buy the tokens right now.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And the other question we've got here, let's have a look. Cool. So what is the main strategy that you think will boost DoubleDice success for the long term versus a high fluctuation market? In which core value do you think you could convince us as investors to put our investment into DoubleDice?
Wow.
What do you think is like the main...
Yeah, no, look, I think
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
whole philosophy of decentralized roles for the different stakeholder groups and the power of that movement, once everybody begins to perform their roles over time, is going to be the key difference between any centralized industry and the Web3 economy. And we are very well set up because the tech setup is there. And we need to remove the bottlenecks on the participation aspects, as we are doing right now already, and promising to do even more so by removing any barriers to entry for players or room owners. And then, of course, that's going to be the point where it's going to become a movement, because there are lots of creators who are coming into the gaming space, and then they are the ones driving forward the space. And it's the same thing as we were giving with the YouTube example, right? So I think we are set up well. We need to remove any problems or pain points from a tech perspective. And then, of course, it's all about promotion, and which is where the room owners will do it, because they get the majority returns from doing so, right? So it's a matter of time. But yes, we need to keep pushing on that.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. That's great. Well, I am unfortunately going to have to wrap it up here, guys. I'm unfortunately getting a low battery warning on my laptop, even though it's plugged in. So, but it's happened at a good time, because we've gone through the meat and bones of this conversation. I really appreciate you coming on today, VK, and I look forward to talking to you again. As time goes forward and you're rolling out new developments, and I'm sure the community really appreciate your valuable time coming into the Discord. So thank you so much, mate, and wish you all the best with everything that you're building. And yeah, I'm a big supporter and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Well, thank you very much. I echoed the sentiment. Pleasure being here, and I will be happy to come and answer any questions anybody has at any point in time. So thanks very much again, Psychochi.
No worries, mate. You're always welcome in the Discord. We have a channel for you where you can talk to your community in here as well. And yeah, really appreciate your time, mate.
Do you know what? I did not notice that before, but I did now. So I'm going to go in there and check in from time to time. I will.
Perfect stuff. Enjoy the rest of your day, VK, and we'll catch up soon, buddy.
You too. Thanks very much, everybody. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Great stuff. Well, thanks for tuning in for another AMA, guys. What a great project that is. So obviously we've got the giveaway that VK was very kind to run for us. I've taken a screenshot of you guys who are listening. Really appreciate you being here. And when we upload the recording of the AMA, we will release a winner for that. So yeah, really appreciate all your time today, guys. And we will catch up soon. All the best and have a good one. Take care. Bye.